Mangwanani Malelepo Fukenjani Klekwas Vanave Africa. Welcome to Africa Good Morning, the news and current affairs show bringing you everything you need to know happening on the African continent and beyond. For those of us in Namibia, it was a bit of a long weekend. We certainly hope that you enjoyed it. Now, these are some of the top stories that we are looking at today. Floods in Nigeria kill at least 49 and displace thousands. A Kenyan citizen questions the transparency of the health ministry, and Denmark to close embassies in Mali and Burkina Faso. We're also going to be talking to Mike Scihula as he brings us the news stories from Zambia. DSTV 285, GoTV 25, 1up2.com is precisely where you can find us. Top stories after the break.
Entries are now open for the second round of Republicane's Bridal Couple of the Year competition. Couples married between 1 June and 31 August have until 30 September of this year to enter the second round of the competition. Another one of the top 10 couples will be chosen from this pool to participate in the final, taking place in May 2025. To better your chance of reaching the final, enter now. To enter, simply WhatsApp #Bridal2025 to 085 785 6231 and follow the on-screen instructions or scan this QR code.
Now, thousands have been displaced and 49 people have been killed in Nigeria after heavy rains caused flooding in the northeast of the country, the National Emergency Management Agency has said. 3 states in the northeast, Jigawa, Adamawa and Taraba, have been hit hard by floods, with 41,344 people displaced, NEMA spokesperson Manzo Ezekiel said. In 2022, Nigeria experienced its worst flood in more than a decade, which killed more than 600 people, displaced around 1.4 million and destroyed 1.1 million acres of farmland. We are just entering into the peak of the season, particularly in the northern part of the country, and the situation is very dire, Ezekiel told Reuters. Now, a Kenyan citizen has threatened to take legal action against the health ministry within 14 days should it fail to address issues raised on the social insurance fund. Mutua Mutuku, through her lawyers, raised concerns about the transparency and fairness of the SHIF's operations, seeking clarifications on an array of issues bordering privacy, including data protection impact assessment, data protection policy, data privacy notice, and details of the Data Protection Officer. Mutuku, in a letter to Health Cabinet Secretary Deborah Mhlongo, highlighted apprehensions about the SHIF's planned adoption of an automatic decision-making system to assess household income and determine affordability for contributions. Now, Denmark said it will close embassies in Mali and Burkina Faso as part of its new strategy for cooperation with Africa. The foreign ministry said that military coups in both countries had limited the scope for action in the Sahel region. Instead, it plans to open new missions in Senegal, Tunisia and Rwanda and increase its diplomatic workforce in its embassies in Egypt, Kenya, South Africa, Nigeria and Ghana. Copenhagen said that following closures in Bamako and Ouagadougou, it will appoint a special representative for the Great Lakes and Sahel region. Now, in Mozambique, over 600 displaced young people, victims of Islamist terrorism in northern Mozambican province of Cabo Delgado, will benefit from short and long-term scholarships over the next 5 years. The beneficiaries are young people who have been resettled in Makonta district in the adjacent province of Nampula after they escaped from the extreme violence carried out by the jihadists. The scholarships, according to Radio Mozambique, are being granted by the Roman Catholic Sante Egidio community to the young people to minimize their suffering and trauma caused by the terrorists. The initiative also counts on funding from the German government. Those have been our top stories on Africa. Good morning. After the break, we talk to Mike Scihula as he brings us the news from Zambia.
Welcome to Namibia, where adventure meets tranquility. With Enjoy, you have access to a wide range of accommodations to suit every traveler's taste and budget. Experience the finest dining and hospitality Namibia has to offer. Booking your dream accommodation is just a few clicks away with Enjoy. Join thousands of happy travelers who have trusted Enjoy for their Namibian getaway. Your gateway to unforgettable Namibian adventures. Visit us today at enjoy.my.na.
All right, it's time for us to talk to Mike Scihula as he brings us the news stories from Zambia. Mike Udwanji.
Niribuino Muribwanji, Africa, good morning to our dear viewers.
Bueno, good morning indeed. Now, the government has issued a warning to former President Edgar Lungu. Tell us more.
Wow, as you know, President Edgar Lungu, who is the Zambia's 60th president, is vying to retain power in 2026. So because of his involvement in politics, every time he goes for a public gathering, whatever statement he makes, it is subjected to scrutiny by the. So in this case, we can play a video. President Lungu said when he addressed a political rally in Samfya district of Luapula province.
My instructions, policemen, as you receive instructions or orders, think through, and do the right thing. Think through and do the right thing. When you do the right thing and you are fired, 2026 will come back. I want you to know, if you are doing the right thing as a police officer or a civil servant and you get fired for that, 2026 will come back, probably even on promotion. But in Malaysia, we an individual in your own house and will sort you out.
So following that statement, in summary, what Mr. Lungu was saying there is that police, when they are given instructions by the appointing authority, they need to think through. But those police officers that will act contrary to the code of ethics, when he retains power, he's going to sort them out individually. So following that statement, Home Affairs Minister Jack Mwimbu has warned President Edgar Lungu to stop issuing such statements against civil servants. Speaking at a media briefing in Lusaka yesterday, Mr. Mwimbu said the statement issued by Mr. Lungu at the rally is highly irresponsible and should not have been made by a person who once held the highest office in the land. And Mr. Mwimbu said Mr. President Hakainde Hichilema does not believe in violence, and if any police officer is found wanting, the alliances to be followed. So this is what the government has been able to say. And the number of civil society organizations, including bodies that represent workers, have condemned Mr. Lungu over what he said at that rally.
Very interesting to see the manner in which Mr. Lungu has re-entered the political sphere. Let's see how it all unfolds now. Following the death of nine people who were buried alive in Lusaka, government has banned the quarrying of sand.
Wow, the sad incident happened on Sunday in Lusaka's Chongwe district, which is about 15 to 20 minutes drive from the central district of Lusaka. So as you can see in that picture, the tipper truck was being filled with sand when the earth collapsed, crashing the vehicle itself and also burying 9 people. Luckily, the driver was rescued by onlookers. Sadly, two brothers died. One of them wanted to rescue his brother who was buried, but in trying to rather, he also perished. So, following this disaster, Lusaka Province Minister Sheri Niwata has directed the Chongwe Council to stop illegal mining activities in the district. And Ms. Niwata says the government is saddened with the death of 9 people at the sand mine. Meanwhile, a village headwoman, Susan Mulimbika, said it has been difficult to stop people from illegal sand mining because some of the people conduct the mining activities at night. So it is mostly this sand is used for building of houses, in some cases even the construction of roads, even burying other pits. So it is a very lucrative business for people that are not in formal employment across Zambia.
A truly saddening story, Mike. Now, a court ruling clearing a Chinese investor accused of manslaughter of a 13-year-old girl has been criticized by the public as being unfair.
So the public, they are saying the manner in which the court has acquitted this Chinese national is questionable because the facts of the matter are that Shin Yamin was facing 1 count of manslaughter on allegation that his 10 dogs killed one of his employer's 13-year-old daughter. When the matter came up for ruling on a case to answer, the judge said that the prosecution through its witnesses had not abrogated enough evidence to prove that the accused was guilty of manslaughter. So the judge ruled that even though circumstances indicated that the death was caused by the dogs, evidence from the nine witnesses did not show that the dogs killed the 13-year-old girl. So following this judgment, people have called saying the judgment is unfair because the dogs belonged to the Chinese national. The dogs that killed the girl belonged to the Chinese national, and there was no way the court could say there was no evidence to prove that the dogs are the ones that caused the death of this girl. Others have also called for forensic experts who should have examined the bites of the dog on a girl and associated with the dog that could have been responsible for that. So they have deemed this judgment by the acquittal of this Chinese national to be unfair, and some of them are pointing to underhand methods in terms of maybe the judge might have been bribed, or people or witnesses also might have also not given accurate information because maybe they might have been bribed by the Chinese national so that the case can fall off.
Wow, what a very deep story to digest, Mike. We'll certainly hear from you should there be any updates with regards to that. Now, new equipment that will replace outdated machinery at the state-owned Mulungushi Textiles has started arriving in the country.
So this is a joint venture between Zambia and the Mulungushi Textiles is actually located in Lusaka's in Central Province, Zambia. For more than 10 decades this manufacturing plant has not been underutilized. It has been unoperational because some of the equipment has been outdated and some of the equipment have been run down because of time. So because of this, after the change of government, new equipment has started arriving. So the Zambia is expected to receive 400 containers, out of which about 2 have since come. And yesterday, the Commerce Minister Chipoka Mulenga officially unveiled the trucks and some of the equipment that have come. So it is expected that when this industry is on board, it's about 500 jobs for people within the district, and also indirect jobs to farmers who are in the business of cultivating cotton. So it is also expected that this plant is going to diversify its production into the production of solar panels and create alternative sources of energy within the district itself, and also create additional improvement in the city of Kabwe to have more jobs, because Kabwe hasn't had job opportunities.
All right. Thank you very much, Mike, for bringing us the news stories as they are from Zambia.
Thank you very much. Africa, good morning to our dear viewers.
Africa, good morning indeed. Let's have a look at the weather predictions before we return with economic news. Germany will donate 100,000 mpox vaccine doses from its military stocks to help contain the outbreak on the African continent in the short term, as well as provide help to the affected countries, said the government spokesperson. The government will provide the World Health Organization with flexible financial resources via various instruments to combat mpox and also support its partners in Africa through the GAVI Vaccination Alliance, added the spokesperson. Germany has around 117,000 doses of JYNNEOS, which is being stockpiled by the German army after Berlin procured it in 2022. Now, oil prices paused their recent advances, receding in Asian trading on Tuesday today after surging more than 7% in the previous 3 sessions on supply concerns prompted by fears of a wider Middle East conflict and the shutdown of Libyan oil fields. Brent crude futures fell 32 cents, while U.S. West Texas Intermediate crude oil fell 36 cents. U.S. interest rates cuts that could boost fuel demand and military assaults between Israel and Hezbollah in Lebanon over the weekend threaten a wider Middle East conflict, potentially disrupting supply from the key producing region and the Libyan closures. Let's have a look at the economic indicators just before Ari brings us the sport.
E-Ticket, your online ticket solution for events and event marketing, bringing you ease of mind and making sure that your event gets out there. For more information, contact events@nmh.com.na.
Good day, everyone. Time for international sports news, and starting off with soccer news first. It's English Premier League, and after the two first weekends of English Premier League, there's only 4 teams that's unbeaten of the 20 teams. That is Manchester City. They're the defending champions. Also Brighton with a brilliant start to the season, beating Everton away, and also Manchester United over the weekend. Then also Arsenal still unbeaten after 2 games, and also Liverpool. What's happening over the weekend is that Manchester City, the defending champions, they will play away to West Ham. And then an interesting game between Brighton and Arsenal. It is Brighton with the 2 wins, as I said, and Arsenal will host Brighton this coming weekend. And then Liverpool, they've got a big game coming up on Sunday, and they will be away to Manchester United. Moving on to Formula 1 racing, and it was the Dutch Grand Prix the past weekend, and it is still Max Verstappen. He is from the Netherlands. He won, or he was second in the Grand Prix, the Dutch Grand Prix. The winner was Lando Norris, so the difference is now 70 points between 1 and 2 on the standings. It is Max Verstappen in his Red Bull. He's got 295 points. Lando Norris on 225, so it's going to be a competitive season for the rest of the season, with McLaren doing really well at the moment. Charles Leclerc in Ferrari is third on 192 points. The next Grand Prix will be the Italian Grand Prix, and that will be on the 1st of September. Moving on to cricket news, and news from the England camp is that Mark Wood, their seam bowler, their fast bowler, is injured. He's got a thigh injury and he won't be able to play this coming Thursday in the second test against Sri Lanka. England winning the first test against Sri Lanka. The second test will be played at Lord's. He will most likely be replaced by Ollie Stone, who was in the group but didn't play. He was 12th man, and also Josh Hull was brought into the team as a backup. Closing off today's international sports news, it is golf news, and it is the FedEx tournament on the PGA that continues over the weekend. It will actually be the conclusion. It is only 30 players that qualified to play. That is in Atlanta. That is the final tournament of the FedEx, and it's played at the East Lake course in Atlanta. The past weekend in the BMW Championship, it was Keegan Bradley that won the tournament. He's from the United States, and that put him to number 4 on the list at the moment. So the top 30 players playing in Atlanta, and it is also South African Christian Besaidnout that qualified. It just made it into the top 30 to play in Atlanta. The favorite to win in the FedEx final round in Atlanta is the world number 1, that is Scotty Scheffler. And also there will be strong competition from players like Rory McIlroy. That's international sports news for today. Hope you have a great sport day, and we talk international sport again tomorrow. Goodbye.
Thank you for staying with Africa Good Morning throughout the broadcast. Let's get into some of the highlights from this morning. Floods in Nigeria kill at least 49 and displace thousands. Kenyan citizen questions transparency in SHIF operations. Denmark to close embassies in Mali and Burkina Faso. Victims of terrorism receive scholarships in Mekonta district in Nampula, Mozambique. Germany to donate 100,000 Mpox vaccine doses to combat outbreak in Africa. In economic news, oil prices pause after surging on Libyan outages and Middle East tensions. DSTV 2 at 5, GoTV 25, 1up2.com is precisely where you can find us. Tomorrow, Talent Korea joins us with the news from Zimbabwe. Thank you for staying with Africa Good Morning. Sweda Jakanaka.